What if a daily habit millions consider harmless could silently raise your risk of stroke? As a brain doctor, I've seen the consequences of seemingly minor choices, and what I recently discovered left me truly shocked. Today, I'll reveal the controversial habit that more and more neurologists are warning against. If you care about protecting your brain and longevity, this is one message you can't afford to ignore. I'm Dr. Eduard Sputnik, a neurologist with decades dedicated to helping patients safeguard their brain health. And where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments and stick around because I have a surprise for you at the end. Stroke is now one of the top causes of long-term disability and death among adults, with millions of cases every year. Most people know about classic risks like high blood pressure, but few realize that everyday routines can quietly set the stage for a life-changing event. The truth is, the brain is remarkably sensitive to our habits, from what we eat and drink to how we start our mornings. Some routines we believe are healthy or harmless may actually increase hidden risks, especially as we age. That's why doctors like myself are raising the alarm about one habit in particular. In today's video, you'll learn what makes stroke prevention so urgent, why I and many of my colleagues are concerned, and what you can do to minimize your own risk starting today. Each point is based on real research and clinical experience, delivered in practical, easy-to-understand language. Follow the channel so you never miss critical updates on brain and heart health. Now, let's break down what a stroke really is, why it happens, and why everyday habits can sometimes do more harm than you think. A stroke occurs when blood flow to a part of the brain is suddenly interrupted, either by a blocked artery, ischemic stroke, or bleeding in the brain, hemorrhagic stroke. When oxygen can't reach brain cells, even for a few minutes, the damage can be permanent, impacting speech, movement, memory, and even personality. For seniors, the consequences are even more severe, making prevention a top priority for long-term independence and quality of life. The most common risk factors for stroke include high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, obesity, and high cholesterol. Many of these are well known, but what's less obvious is how certain daily habits can amplify or even trigger these risks. Lifestyle choices, what you eat for breakfast, how you manage stress, and how you start your day, can quietly contribute to vascular problems without obvious warning signs. The brain relies on stable blood flow and controlled blood pressure to function well. Even seemingly minor habits that spike blood pressure or cause sudden vascular tension can increase the risk of a vessel rupture or clot formation, especially in people already at risk. This is why neurologists look beyond genetics or chronic illness, focusing on how daily routines may impact the delicate balance inside your blood vessels. It's easy to underestimate the impact of routine behaviors. Many people don't realize that some habits can slowly damage the lining of arteries, increase inflammation, or disturb hormonal balance, all factors linked to a higher stroke risk. The effects may be subtle at first, but over months or years, they can add up to a significant threat. In the world of stroke prevention, small changes can make a big difference. But which specific habit are neurologists most worried about right now? In the next segment, I'll reveal the routine that has experts sounding the alarm and explain exactly how it affects your brain and blood vessels. Of all the daily routines that can impact your brain health, one stands out as particularly risky: drinking coffee on an empty stomach. For millions, coffee is a beloved morning ritual, often the very first thing consumed each day. But new research and clinical experience suggest that starting your day with coffee before any food may have unintended consequences, especially for seniors and those already at risk for cardiovascular problems. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach triggers a rapid increase in cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol in the morning can temporarily raise blood pressure, increase heart rate, and cause vascular tension, all of which strain the delicate blood vessels supplying your brain. Over time, these repeated surges may weaken blood vessel walls and increase the likelihood of clot formation or vessel rupture. This habit also impacts blood sugar regulation. Without food to buffer caffeine's effects, blood sugar may spike and then quickly drop, leaving the brain more vulnerable to energy swings and irritability. Seniors, whose bodies are often less able to adapt to sharp changes, may be particularly sensitive to these fluctuations, further increasing their stroke risk. Another concern is that coffee's natural acids can irritate the lining of the stomach and arteries, especially when there's no food present to protect these tissues. This can lead to increased inflammation, a hidden factor that quietly raises the risk of both stroke and heart disease over time. Many neurologists are sounding the alarm not because coffee itself is inherently dangerous, but because the way it's consumed can make a significant difference in vascular health. Small, daily habits have a compounding effect, especially as we age. But what does the latest evidence really say? And who is most at risk from this common morning routine? In the next segment, we'll dive into scientific studies, expert opinions, and reveal which groups should be especially cautious with coffee on an empty stomach. Recent studies have begun to draw a clear connection between drinking coffee on an empty stomach and an elevated risk of cardiovascular events, including stroke. Research from leading neurology and cardiology centers shows that coffee, when consumed without food, causes a more pronounced spike in both blood pressure and cortisol compared to coffee taken after a meal. For seniors and individuals with existing hypertension, these repeated spikes may add up, increasing long-term stroke risk. A 2022 review published in a prominent medical journal found that early morning coffee, without breakfast, was linked to greater arterial stiffness and impaired vascular function, two markers strongly associated with increased risk for both stroke and heart attack. Neurologists are paying close attention, especially as new data suggests these effects may be more severe in older adults or those with pre-existing blood vessel fragility. Join the Members Club and leave a super like if you value clear, science-based advice that can help protect your brain and heart. Your support helps spread these important insights to more seniors and caregivers looking to make informed choices. Cardiovascular specialists also point out that people with diabetes, chronic stress, or high blood pressure may be especially vulnerable to the effects of coffee on an empty stomach. For these groups, the combination of caffeine-induced stress and blood sugar fluctuations may create a perfect storm for vascular complications. Even healthy seniors should be cautious, as age naturally weakens the protective mechanisms that buffer sudden changes in blood pressure and hormone levels. Expert consensus is building. While moderate coffee consumption can have benefits, the timing and context matter greatly. Drinking coffee with food, or after eating something small, helps minimize spikes in blood pressure and cortisol, making the habit safer for your brain and blood vessels. So how can you continue to enjoy your coffee while protecting your health? In the final segment, you'll discover practical strategies for safer coffee consumption, plus other daily routines that can support your long-term brain health. Join the Members Club, drop a super like, follow the channel and leave a comment. Your participation helps this community deliver practical, science-backed tips to seniors everywhere. Protecting your brain from stroke isn't just about avoiding major risks, it's also about paying attention to the small, daily habits that add up over time. Drinking coffee isn't off limits, but being mindful about when and how you enjoy it makes a real difference. The safest practice is to drink coffee after you've eaten something, even if it's just a small snack. This helps buffer the effects of caffeine on blood pressure, cortisol, and blood sugar, protecting your blood vessels and supporting steady brain function. Moderation is also key. Stick to 1 or 2 cups per day, and listen to your body's signals. Other lifestyle choices matter, too. Regular physical activity, a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and good hydration all contribute to healthy blood vessels and lower stroke risk. Managing stress, getting enough sleep, and keeping your blood pressure in check are equally important steps for long-term brain health. If you experience dizziness, palpitations, or persistent headaches after coffee, or notice changes in your memory or coordination, consult your healthcare provider promptly. Seniors and those with hypertension or diabetes should always talk to their doctor before making major changes to their diet or daily routines. Building mindful, protective habits each day can dramatically reduce your risk of stroke and keep your brain sharp for years to come. Thank you for being proactive about your health and for joining this community. For more trusted brain and heart health tips, watch our next video on daily habits that slow brain aging naturally. I've finished your entire script.